Oh my goodness, this just in. We finally have a Black Barbie. After 60 years, 10 designs, 2 production companies, three letters of possible. All right, welcome to another episode of Claire Haire. We are reviewing Black Barbie. This is a documentary on the creation, the history. Also, this is by Shonda Rhimes. So I think the quote is whatever Shonda Rhimes put out, we're watching it. Okay. It could be a documentary about brushing your teeth. Yes, Shonda, let us know with the little pinky. Okay. But yeah, so basically it's broken up into 3 parts. It's on Netflix. I think some of them, I think it might be streaming on Hulu as well, but I'm pretty sure Netflix and Shonda have a little deal to milk it out. So it's only on Netflix before we get into it. But I'm basically going to do like a recap of each episode, each part, because it's broken into 3 chapters, and then I'll do my review at the end. So welcome to my review. Movie Monday. Shonda Rhimes and Claire Haire. Let's do it. So first things first, we're going to talk about the history of the Black Barbie. Now, Barbie, the brand already came out, but this is like Black Barbie, basically like designs and who's there. So I have on here, at first it enters with Representative Maxine Waters, who she's a Barbie collector. And once she said she was 1 out of 12, I was like, we want a documentary on you. Okay, we want a series on you, because what I'm 1 out of 5, and baby, I could only imagine. That's besides the point. But she collected dolls, and back in her day, basically she collected the dolls for her siblings and herself, and then she would collect all types of dolls, but then like they weren't black yet, so they made they made sure that was put in there. And the only dolls that they did have were in blackface. Basically it is a caricature of black people that is not desirable for us to enjoy. And then so I have like a timeline here. 1940 was basically was the doll test, with me being a psych major as well. The Kenneth Clark test basically is showing what levels, how do kids view things. So kids learn best through play. So the experiment was basically saying, okay, so now point out which doll you think is the prettiest. Point out which doll do you think is the bad one. Point out which doll do you think is, you get what I'm trying to say? So like, it's basically, we're trying to see what impression these kids are. Like I said, you guys do not understand. Children are so intelligent. And in 1939, they kind of did like a brief Barbie intro about like Barbie and Ken are named after the creator's kids. And then 1960s is when they started introducing friends for Barbies. They did have a Black Barbie doll, but she was like the friend, but also the babysitter. And I was just like, math's not mathing, because how is she your friend, such a babysitter? But I believe that they were just basically trying to see which, how they're basically soft launching it. Like had different, I think they had a Latina Barbie, but like they wanted like basically soft launch of her having friends to where they can build up to it. And then I have on here, Kitty Black Perkins. She is the first designer. She looks amazing. I feel like she's a vampire. Like, my theory is that she's actually a Barbie doll herself. That's why she still looks good. Because as soon as they said she's the original designer, I was just like, so that means you're 60 plus. Her skin is immaculate. We need the skin routine. Forget the series. We need a skin routine. But basically she comes and she talks about that. And then, they basically show different people who had Barbie dolls made after them. I'll go into detail in part 2. And then 1980, the first Black Barbie was released, and they did a focus group as well. So basically kind of parallel to the Clark experiment with the kids beforehand, about how which Barbies do you think is this, which Barbies do you think is that. And then I also have on here, they didn't really market it that much. Like, it's kind of like, well, then you want a Black Barbie here. They didn't really market it. So that pretty much ends the one. But it's just overall, like for part 1, like there's more details, but that's like the overall part. I don't want to tell you too much, because I want you guys to experience, like truly take, like I feel like I was going in a time machine, and they're like slowly bringing you to current. So like the first one's just the history of Barbie. Like there's just so much that went into it. It wasn't just because, like I said, Kitty Black Perkins was a designer for clothes, and she was like, okay, I guess I'll do this Barbie doll, like she was a designer for clothes, and she kind of went from there. But pretty much the mold for Barbie was already created, but she was basically the pioneer to really get it pushed to the front. And I really like the fact that they were able to get her to speak herself. Like, that's why I said I'll talk about it later, but we have to hold on to our people who are part of our history. So we're gonna go into part 2, and part 2 is basically part 2 is after Black Barbie, like post Barbaless, basically after the Black Barbie was released in 1980. And then it just really showed the importance of representation. So because that flew off the shelves, they started introducing Shawnee. Is it Shani? Okay. So they introduced Shawnee, and basically Shawnee was a form of, it was by Mattel, of course, and basically it's more urban. Like, they had different braid styles, different hairstyles. Like, I feel like Shawnee would have like worn like something like this. Like, I don't remember it, 'cause like I said, a lot of this is before my time, but like a lot of this like would have really showed, like this would have really like been something that Shawnee would have wore. The hairstyles were different. And then 1990, the holiday Barbie was released. And then 2009, the In Style Barbie was released. That's pretty much, that's more millennials. I want to say millennials because we're 18 in 2009. I'm doing that too quick. But I feel like Gen Z had the In Style Barbie. Basically, this is somebody who like they were able to really get creative, because I feel like when they had the first Barbie, like when they first released it back in 1980, there's just like strict hairstyle, and then like strict hairstyle, strict outfits, strict occupations they could do. And then Shawnee, that I just said right now, that was released in the 90s, like that one was more like that. To me, I feel like they were kind of low-key modeled after Salt and Pepper, like just from what the hairstyles and like the colors. Definitely In Vogue was also promoting it as well, so definitely I love some In Vogue, but like I can definitely say like those were the ones. But so 2009, more free-range Barbies, and then honorable celebrities were Barbalized. So Shonda Rhimes was Barbalized. I have on here Misty May Copeland. I think I shared with you guys before, and I've done like plenty of cosplays on it. I've always wanted to be a ballerina, but I'm too tall. Okay, if you look at I'm too tall. Like, I have the flexibility, but I always want to be a ballerina. So Misty May Copeland, like she pretty much was that person for me. But I always want to be a ballerina, but I'm too tall. Like, you can't come up there being 5'10" when you're taller than half the men here. Just lines wise too. It's also very hard. That's why Sierra is an amazing dancer, because once you get past 5'6", 5'7", it's very hard for you to look like a good dancer, because you have so many, your limbs are so long. Okay, so I was like, okay, I can't dance, let me model, so. But Missy May Copeland, to see her like talk about like for her to be the premier dancer, and the first thing I thought about with Missy May Copeland, like she was like, oh yeah, I got treated. I was like, what would they have done with my dark self? What would they have done? Because I'm just like, Missy May Copeland is beautiful, like her skin is lighter, but I'm just like, what would they have done, child? But Missy May Copeland, like, just know all of us Black girls, we stand in solidarity with you. Like I just love that for her. And then I want to say her name is messing this name up. I'm so sorry. Ibithja Muhammad. Her eyes, breathtaking. She's a fencing goddess. I looked her up afterwards. Not enough to pronounce it correctly, but I looked her up afterwards. Like, she was just such a representation. She's a Barbie as well. To get Barbalized, like, they basically do like, what do you see your, like, what's your best look, pretty much. Like, think of your best selfie, and they're gonna Barbalize that. So I like the fact that they had different representation there. And then now, and like, more recent time, as we're going into the timeline, the wheelchair, they have people who had wheelchair, people with vitiligo, people who's plus size, people who wear glasses. I don't know if that's considered a disability or not, but like, it's just the fact that like they have more inclusion. Like, it really felt nice to know that like now all these Barbies, oh, that Barbie looks like me, that Barbie has freckles, that Barbie has this, that Barbie has that. So I really did like those aspects of it. But definitely, like, Barbie has come a very, very long way. And the inclusion, like, I can say was we got one more part and then we'll go into my review, but the inclusion is priceless. It's priceless to sit there and have, like, to be able to have a vitiligo. The one that they did, their big one, was when they had like a Barbie who had like, type 4 hair. I was just like, that, woo. They had type 4 hair, and then just overall representation. So now we're gonna go into chapter 3, which is basically the future of Barbie. So basically where are we at now as of current? I think it was filmed in 2023, released for 2024. So as of current, so they ended up recreating the Clark psychological experiment. It's very, I would say, when I was getting my degree, we learned this more in sociology, you know, just because of the fact that your preference for what you find attractive, there is a nature versus nurture there. And so they had the test set up again, and basically they had Barbie dolls like of different races, different demographics, and they ended up still choosing the blonde hair, blue eye, but this time it was mostly based on, okay, well, I pick her because I like her dress. I pick her because I like her shirt. And, you know, like I said, certain like words have powers. Words have affirmations, negative connotation, positive connotation. So basically, they wanted to know, what do you think about race? You know, and a lot of them was like, oh, well, you know, I know it's something to describe people who make certain people make other people feel bad because they're pre-existing ideas. Now, the kids didn't say that. I don't know. You know, that's what they said. But like, essentially, like after summarizing what the kids, their feedback was the fact that they still, like, it's still there, you know, so we still have more work to do. Lucky us millennials, we get to make work. We get to have more work to do. But you can tell that it has changed, you know, but I feel like after watching the experiment for the third part, so I have on here too, educating kids on their Barbie preference is not the teacher's job. And, you know, one of the educators that was on the show, he said, you know, parenting, like your parent is your first teacher. And I was just like, yes, bring back, it was like, bring back common sense. Cause I was like, you're their first teacher. You're the first person they hear. You're the first person they hear as mother, and you're the first person they see as fathers. So like, it's just one of those things where like, you're their first teacher, you're their first exposure to everything. Like every time I see some situation where someone's like, oh, well, I don't like so-and-so, I was like, but who told you that? Like, you don't have an original idea. You are a child. Like everything everything you have has been implemented on you, whether leading the witness or not. But I had that on here, just educating kids. Like when he said that, like I felt like my heart was like, my heart was beating because my heart was beating fast. I was like, I keep saying this. Like, yes, these teachers, they're here to educate. They are not here to raise your children. They are not here to raise your children. So I feel like that aspect was very important. I have on here that there's a Barbie vlog. So basically there's a Barbie vlog, and basically they, in a kid way, address like prejudice. So there is a, you guys can go watch it too as well, probably show a screenshot, but there was a situation where, you know, Barbie and her friend Bianca, I don't know, Black Barbie, I don't know her name is. Barbie and Bianca, basically they both was like, hey, let's sell these stickers on the pier. Let's split up and then we'll come back at 12 and then we'll meet. Which I'm just like, do y'all have cell phones? How would you know that? Anyways, basically what happened was Barbie was able to sell 20 stickers and raise $20. And then this is just for teenagers, because right now inflation, that would do nothing. But when Bianca went to go sell, she was stopped not once, not twice, but thrice by the pier police saying, oh, what are you doing? Is it something illegal? Are you allowed to be out here? Who are you with? How'd you get here? And basically Barbie was like stunned. She was stunned, but she listened. And I really feel like that was a very good aspect of, the short that they did for it. Because the main thing is that you don't have to sit there. Like, it's kind of like when you have kids, like you don't have to understand your kids. You just have to love them. All right. That's all you have to do. Just love them, and the understanding will eventually come. But it's kind of similar to, I feel like it's kind of similar to like, when it comes to narcissism, we can't say that word, or you get banned on the YouTube. But like, when it comes to that, like, we just want you to listen and have an open heart and an open mind of what's taking place. Like, that's the main thing, is that we want you to have an open mind. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Like, I want you to have that same level of openness that you have when you're speaking about it. And I want you to hear the same, like, I want you to have the same level of patience to listen. Because like, I like the fact that they had that short. I have a show too that I watch with my niece, Karma also addressed that too. So Karma has this big, beautiful fro. It's part of her, you know, it's part of her look. It's giving. And basically she had a time where there was a sleepover and they were trying to touch her hair and she didn't like it. And so she came to them and said, hey, I don't like that you guys did this and another. And I'm glad that they addressed that, because like I said, even as an adult, we still have to explain our hair. So my overall review, let's start out with the bad and let's go with the good. So again, on a good note. So on the bad, I have, why did I release it this year? I don't know who the marketing rollout was for that, but it wasn't anybody who had common sense. Why would you release Black Barbie documentary a year after? Like, that was the part that I was kind of confused. And I was like, why would you release it a year after the hype's gone down? Like, I still enjoyed it, but it's just the timing. Like I said, like, even me as a content creator, I have to be very careful. I can make, honestly, if I can be frank with y'all, I could make content for 30 days and not run out of topics. I can make content forever. However, the issue is the fact that I had to think of a way, how can I market this? Is this the right time? Is this in season to talk about this? Like, I was expecting that, mind you, it did get released on Juneteenth. I was like, I understand that. But I would have liked this released on the first day of February, maybe make it a Valentine's Day rollout. I would have liked this to see it as a challenge, Nicki Minaj has that part in her song, I'm Black Barbie, cute face, perfect body, like something cute like that. And then maybe have people dress up as the old Black Barbie, because that was my inspiration too today, was like, this is something that I feel like the first Black Barbie would have worn, like something baby, something about the rollouts for some of these movies and these series. I'm just like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just have rolled it out when it was relevant. Like, now it's just kind of like, I'm going to tell people about it, you should watch it, but like the timing, baby, I don't understand what the timing was about. I also have on here, I don't like the fact that like some of these experiments, this is psychologist hat. Some of these experiments, y'all are leading the witness. Like, you gotta understand, kids can tell tones. For example, when you're teaching your kid what's 2 + 2, right? And they're just like 3, and you're just like, you're leading them. Okay? If you say what's 2 + 2 and you say 3 and you're just kind of just like, that's not quite the answer, they're going to work hard to do it. So in this same aspect, when you sit there and say that, oh, are you sure that's the Barbie doll that you think is not good? Like, you're kind of leading them towards it. Like, that's why we sometimes have in psychology, we have double blind tests, double blind experiments. Basically, like, the proctor doesn't know, and then the person who's filling it out doesn't know as well. So it's just like, we're both in for a surprise. Like, it's a double. Neither of us know the gender reveal. Okay, neither of us know the gender pretty much. So I feel like those tests help better. Like, I feel like those tests are more of a clear view of the results, compared to like, there's a level of tampering when you're leading the witness and you're just like, are you sure that's the right one? So I didn't really like that experiment part. Those are the bad ones. So we're gonna go to the positives. The positives I have on here, representation matters. Like, I just remember being so young, I craved, and I'm not saying that I wanted, like, I craved long straight hair, right? Like, straight hair, not blonde hair, because I for some reason I always knew that blonde didn't look good on my skin tone. I don't know, what a lie, because it looks dang good. But I craved it. Like, I used to wish that, like, the shampoo, the Head and Shoulders shampoo, had like magical straightening powers in it, and my mom would wash my hair and my hair turned straight. Like, I craved it so bad, because there's no one there looking like me. Like, there's no one there has type 4, like, no one there has curly hair, like, no one has anything. Like, I just craved it for so long, so bad. Like, I never craved curly hair, I just craved my hair to stop doing what it was doing, because like, these dolls are play is a big vital part of a kid's development, because that's how they learn, and when you sit there and you're playing with a doll, that's why I said this documentary is so and vital, because like, it really shows that like, these kids are learning from a young age that they're not ideal, they're not like, I still to this day, the reason why I'm stuttering is because there's even as an adult, like at my 33 years old, like I still feel like there are certain parts where I'm just like, am I supposed to be here? So there's a lot of validation that comes with this. So definitely don't forget to subscribe, share. It's Claire Haire.